We will begin with opening statements by the candidates for Brown County Commissioner in the order in which they are seated. They were randomly assigned seats by number, and the order of speaking will rotate during the forum. Candidates will have 90 seconds each for opening statements. So we will start on the end with Tim Clark.
Okay, thank you. Hey, I appreciate everybody being here, and thanks to the league. Brown County is a beautiful place to live. I started coming down here as a kid in the 60s, brought my kids down, my grandkids down, they enjoy it. We like the outdoor activities in Nashville. We retired here in 2014. I retired from the federal service. I specialize in quality management, improving efficiency and effectiveness of government. It's a never-ending job. I think led hundreds of projects, probably 70 million on one cost avoidance. Got involved in the county government here in 2016, read an article in the paper that mentioned the challenge with school enrollment, affordable housing, and jobs. And so started asking questions, going to more meetings, trying to learn more and apply some of my skills to the issue. That was in 2016. Since then, I've attended other meetings, other conferences, working sessions, you name it, on about any issue we'll talk about here tonight. And I not only attend meetings, but I also, when I attend, I take notes and I share what I learn. And I post those at Brown County Matters and at Independent Voters of Brown County, Indiana, where I include the studies, the research, the notes, the audios, anything that help educate people on some of these issues. And I'm always asking, is that in that role, I'm more of a journalist. I just post information and share it. And I'm always asked, as I ran for candidate, what's your solutions for the county? Well, the question is, what is the best solutions for the county and how do we do that? And it's through public meetings, communication, a collaborative decision-making process. Better process, better results, both incrementally and transformationally. So thank you for being here. Looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much. And next for opening statement will be Greg Taggart.
Hi, my name is Greg Taggart. I'm happy to be here. Happy everybody's here. Oh, turn on the microphone. Oh, you're good. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, my name is Greg Taggart. I'm happy everybody's here. A little bit about myself. My family moved here back in the 1821. His name was James Taggart. He was, I believe, the first either bailiff or the first judge of the county. And then his son, James Taggart, was Captain James Taggart, was actually the first elected sheriff in the county, and I think it was 1836. He died on the battlefield in 1947 at the American-Mexican War. He was buried there. My grandfather's, Earl Taggart, was a run for trustee as a probation, or was it party, and then my grandpa Roberts was a trustee in the Democrat Party. I graduated at Brown County in 1974. I attended Western Kentucky University. From that point on, I was in the floor covering business all my life, being a manager or owner store or a salesperson. I have years of just commercial business and just years of just knowing how to run a business and meeting payroll and that kind of stuff, and hiring people, firing people, which is not a good thing. I'm married. My wife Jenny and I, between us, have 5 kids, 11 grandkids, 1 grandchild on the way in October, great grandchild, I guess I'm saying. I'm retired now. Didn't know I talked that loud.
All right, thank you very much. And next for opening statements is Justin Schwenk.
Hi, good morning. First off, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for having us here. And all of you for being here as well. It's a testament to your civic engagement to give them a Saturday morning to listen to us talk. As I said, my name is Justin Schwenk. I'm a school teacher and educator that lives here in the community. I've not lived here quite as long as Greg, but I did grow up here. This is my home. I graduated in the 90s. And I have the distinct privilege of being able to raise my own family here as well. Over the last 10 years or so, I've engaged with our community in lots of different ways as the president of the County Redevelopment Commission, as a local youth leader with scouting. I'm currently the Scoutmaster in Troop 190, and then also being a teacher in our community as well. And those experiences have all shown me individually sort of a unique view that we are going through a time of demographic change. How we solve those problems is very important. And so I look forward to sharing some of those ideas with you and hopefully earning your vote. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. And then with the final opening statement, Tiffany Ardnt.
Okay, I think this thing's on. My name is Tiffany Ardnt. I'm also from here, but not as long as Mr. Taggart there. My family came here in the 1950s. I graduated from Brown County High School. My children graduated from Brown County High School. I ran a daycare here for 7 years while my kids were small so that I could stay at home. I've been in nursing for the last 30 years, traveling to different areas. Recently, I decided that I wanted to serve the community and in a different way, so went back to Purdue and got my bachelor's degree in policy with emphasis on environmental management. And I am currently 4 classes away from completing my master's degree in public administration. While traveling, I was able to meet with a lot of different communities, many of them much like Brown County, to help determine the needs, especially mental health needs. I did mental health nursing for 15 years. So, you know, have a lot of experience talking to people, trying to ascertain what their needs are. And I think that is one of the most important things, is just being able to meet people, determine what they think the problems are and how they think that they should be met, and how they think that we should proceed. So I'd like to thank you all for being here today, and I would like to thank the league for having us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we will move on to our first question. And we would note that we did receive some questions from students of teacher Emily Lewellen at Brown County High School. And we'll start off with a couple of those.
And the first question will be directed to Greg Taggart, and then we'll go down the line. Okay. What's the first thing you want to do if you are elected into office? What is your main priority?
Well, my main priority is really about having opportunities for growth for our county. I like to see our youth have an opportunity to stay in this county if they so desire to. I mean, that's one of my big passions is that, but we're gonna have to have some infrastructure in the county. We're gonna have to do sewer projects. We're gonna have to do, expand all that, but not take away from our beauty of Brown County. I mean, if we expand opportunities for families to stay here, we're not gonna take away from the state park. We're not gonna take away from Yellowwood Park. We're not gonna lose all our beautiful county if we have some opportunity for growth in our county. That would be my main thing is about growth and have an opportunity for our young kids to stay here. And that's, I guess that's just my passion. That'd be my number one thing, is growth in our county and opportunity. So.
Thank you. Justin Schwenk, what's the first thing you want to do if you are elected into office? What is your main priority?
Yeah, well, I think that the first step is to try to put our community on a future focused trajectory, right? Aligning our needs of the future to the solutions that we have. You said this came from Miss Llewellyn's class, right? Being able to create a community where our kids can stay here and find good jobs is incredibly important. And so the first thing I would do is start looking at ways to develop, further develop high-speed internet in the community, and bring in individuals with intellectual capital that understand how to do work in the 21st century, who can create businesses that are focused here, that allows them to be here, but also create work and opportunities, and be able to live here.
Thank you. Tiffany Art, what is the first thing you want to do if you are elected into office, and what is your main priority?
I agree with the two gentlemen that just spoke. I mean, one of the first things that we have to do is address, looking forward into, everything that we need to, you know, that times are changing. So, one of the first things I would like to do is address our tax base. We have so many people that come in because of the tax structure who buy homes that do not stay here. For that reason, we do not get their income taxes. So, you know, we're losing out on that kind of money. It also makes it so that our housing is so much more expensive. I personally have 15 nephews. Some of them would like to be able to stay in the county. I have 2 grown children who have bought homes of their own, and had the structure been better here, they would have been able to buy homes here. So I think, and because of the tax structure, where our students are losing out, so they're losing money in the schools because we just don't have that tax base anymore. So I think that's one of the things that we really need to address first off, is getting that tax structure back. You know, how we go about that. Again, we talk to people, we figure out what it is that people want to do, how they want to address that situation. And then we just, you know, I've done a lot of work with different funding in different communities, with being able to find grant money and different things for that. So that would be the first thing that I would like to do.
Thank you. Tim Clark, what is the first thing you want to do if you are elected into office? What is your main priority?
Well, there's no question, it's the development of the new county comprehensive plan. Our current plan is like, I don't know, 2011, 11 pages, generic. What a comprehensive plan ought to do for the county is the voice of the citizens. What do you want or don't want when it comes to quality of life and cost of living? That's your call. And what I'm going to do different on the comprehensive plan that you don't see with other communities is that we're going to pull it down. We've got 3 commissioners in 3 districts. We got 4 councilmen in 4 districts, 3 councilmen at large, and we have 10 precincts, all identifying an area. And so the goal is to reach out to grassroots effort, go out to these particular areas and ask people, what do you want and what you don't want in terms of development in your area? And that will include zoning maps. So you'll explain what the zoning map is in your area. Also a description of what exactly will fit into your zoning. So what do you want? What do you don't want when it comes to commercial development, residential development, recreational opportunities? What do you want? It's the voice of the citizens. And when I talk collaborative decision-making process, it's what do we think is the best solution for the county? What do you think in your area is the best solution for the county? The commissioners sign off on that comprehensive plan. And I'm going to have it coordinated. If I sign off on it, it's going to be coordinated most politically and then with other groups as well. And primarily it's the residents. You drive the train. So number one, there's undoubtedly that's the most important thing we've got going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move to the second question, which also comes from the school, from the students in Miss Lewellen's class. And this question will start with Justin. What role does the county commissioner's office play in supporting our schools? What steps would you take to help Brown County schools succeed?
Yeah, well, I mean, as a former teacher in the community, right, seeing the decline in student enrollment over the last 2 decades is difficult to watch, and it is a huge pressure on our schools. Those relationships between the county and the school corporation, they need to be collaborative. What I would work on doing is attracting the next generation of Brown County residents to our community. People who are of an age that are going to put kids into our schools. Since 1990, we've seen a decline of 30% of residents aged 20 to 40. Those are the people that then put kids into our school system. So working with the school board, working with the superintendent to innovate solutions, ask them how can we help? What role do you need us to play? It's their school system and we should be there to support them.
Thank you, Justin. Tiffany, what role does the county commissioner's office play in supporting our schools? What steps would you take to help Brown County schools succeed?
Well, first, I think we have to first of all, we have to provide safe school environment. I'm aware that recently we had a scare with the gun or, a shooter that they said, called the school. And I would like to look into, what kind of steps that we have or what kind of safety mechanisms that we have in place for those kinds of situations, because that's the kind of, life that is our reality. The second thing I would like to do is being able to get people that into the county that actually have, children that are of school age or wanting to have children, and make it possible for them to have children and know that their children are safe here. So I think a big part of that is, making sure that we're offering classes at the school level that the kids are wanting to take. And again, as Justin said, a lot of that is also talking to the parents and talking to the teachers and the administrators and saying, this is your school. What is it that you want us to do for you? What would you like for our priorities to be? How is it that you want us to address the things that are going on? But I think the main thing is that we need to keep the students here that we have, first of all, because I know a lot of kids around where I'm at, they take them to different school corporations because they have more opportunities. So we need to address the opportunity situation. We need to make sure everybody's safe.
Thank you. Tim, what role does the county commissioner's office play in supporting our schools? What steps would you take to help Brown County schools succeed?
Well, the role is, we're obviously a key stakeholder. Schools are a critical asset in the community. We want to attract new people, have to have quality schools, have to have those availability options. The opportunity that I saw, and I saw it during the conversations of the referendum last year in 2022 and this one here, is getting community buy-in for our schools, how important that is, and finding out. And when you have it split on votes, ideally you'd like to have, more votes for referendum, for funding, for change than not. And so as I mentioned on my campaign website, I want to have those collaborative meetings. When I say collaboration, folks, there's a process to that. It's just not words. It's not an empty process. It's very collaborative and it's working. And I like to mine the data that we had on social media when it came to referendum, the pro, the con, the concerns people had that just weren't addressed. There are a ton of opportunities that I saw on social media where we need to make a lot of different strategies to get community buy-in, and as well as funding and all the things that come with it. So we have a very competitive school system with all the options people need that attract students and attract new residents. So it's a process, but I mean, the data was there on that referendum, just a gold mine of ideas and opportunities to get that community buy-in for schools and moving ahead.
Thank you. Greg? What role does the county commissioner's office play in supporting our schools? And what steps would you take to help Brown County schools succeed?
As far as the county commissioner's role is there again, I still think if we're gonna have to promote our school. To promote our school, we gotta have growth, we gotta have infrastructure. I'm gonna just keep pushing that. We're gonna have to have some infrastructure in our county to grow, to make our kids wanna stay here, and maybe our tourism can be part of promote our school. We do have a great school. We've got great teachers in our school system. We have a great junior high, the high school. The whole school system, yeah, it has faded in the population of our school, and that just, it saddens me, but I think if we could promote what good we have in our school instead of promoting what we feel is negative about their school. I've heard too many people talk to the negative side about when we had the referendum where we gave them money, but oh, we're just throwing money at it and not fixing it. Well, I don't know as a commissioner, we can fix the school, but we can put in place an opportunity for growth, and we've got people who want to retire here, we push that, and this is a great place for retirement. We also need to push, this is a great place to raise a family, and that's where I would be, so.
Thank you.
All right, and for our next question, we will start down here with Tiffany. Ardnt, as commissioner, what are your goals for managing the innkeeper tax? Considering the Convention Visitor Bureau, the Convention Visitor Commission, the Music Center, and general Brown County tourism.
Oh, well, you would have to start with me on that one, because I've been doing some homework on that, and I'm still not up to date on a lot of the stuff. And I will say that right off the bat, I'm not up to date on a lot of the tourism board. I have made some extensive notes. I personally, I do believe that the music center is doing some good things for the county. I am aware that that they just, I believe gave the Brown County Fire Department a large sum of money to buy some equipment and things. And so I believe that that is, something good that is coming out of the music center. I know that the CVC has a contract with the Visitors Bureau, and I know that actually is a month-to-month contract now. So we need to address that and see how we want to move forward with that. As far as the innkeeper's tax, my plan now is to go talk to some of the people that own some of the hotels around and find out what they think about, how their money is being spent. If they're having any issues or problems with, it doesn't seem like it with the tourism that comes in. I will tell you, I do know a lot of people that come into the county to work, that they pay a lot of money to the inns to stay there. So we might, look at that. But again, we need to talk to the people about that. So that would be my first thing that I would do.
Thank you very much, Tiffany. Tim Clark, I'll repeat the question just so, as commissioner, what are your goals for managing the innkeeper tax, considering the Convention Visitor Bureau, Convention Visitor Commission, the Music Center, and general Brown County tourism?
I'll tell you, I've been studying that. I first got exposed to revenue to the innkeeper's tax back in, I think it was probably about 2017. I consider myself an expert on the topic. I developed a system app on it. Takes me an hour to explain all the variables within the system when it comes to the innkeeper's tax. That's available on my website, Brown County Matters, available to independent voters. And I just posted it again on Brown County Matters. And if you look at that, there's a lot of variables involved. And what's new on that innkeeper's tax is the excess revenue that can be available to the citizens. And so that's a new source of revenue. The CBB has always been a contractor for that revenue. You got the CBC involved. People need to understand how the treasurer's involved, how the auditor's involved, how that money is distributed and flows through not only the county, but through through the CBB and other opportunities to invest money within the community. So again, I'd be glad to sit down with anybody, go through that system with you, explain it in detail and show the options. Again, it gets back to that collaborative process. There's a lot more involved there. I could probably write a book on it. So thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Greg Taggart, as commissioner, what would your goals be for managing the innkeeper tax, considering the CBB, the CBC, the Music Center, and general Brown County tourism?
Well, as a commissioner, we appoint people to the board of the visitors committee, and then there's 5 members of that board, and then they work with right now they have a contract with the Visitors Bureau to promote tourism. But I think as a commissioner, I think we should also, if you appoint somebody, you should also get involved with what's going on with those boards, because I think just recently we had a little infighting between both boards about whether they want to extend their contract with the Visitor Bureau and all that, but I think with Brian Tackett he's a temporary, and they're working with the board now, and I think that's great, and I think that's a real important, but I think as a commissioner, we also do our due diligence and make sure that who we appoint to these boards, that they are doing their jobs. So as a commissioner, I would go to those meetings and make sure that when I appoint somebody, they're gonna do that. Now, as far as the music center, it's been a great thing. I mean, they give the county back $267,000 last year. There'll be more money for this year. As far as the split, I'm thinking that, we should maybe do a 50-50 split with the county and the foundation, the community foundation. I know right now it's 75% for the community foundation, 25% for the county. But I think the county with our budget the way it is, we need to get some income there off of that, so. Oh, I'm sorry.
You can finish your sentence.
Thank you, Greg. And Justin Schwenk, as Commissioner, what would your goals be for managing the income for tax, considering the Convention Visitor Bureau, the Convention Visitors Commission, the Music Center, and General Brown County Tourism?
Right, so I mean, obviously, the taxes that are raised from visitors, you know, who are coming here, need to be used to continue to promote the county, and continue to promote tourism and see what we can use, of that excess revenue to, benefit our local residents. To Greg's point, you know, I think that there is, has been a little bit of contention between the CVC and the CVB recently. And as far as maybe not managing the tax, but managing the process, that comes down to the commissioners and making sure that we not only put the right people in place, but that we take that active role and we visit them and we help create the umbrella of the direction that we want to go in, and then we make sure that we give those board members the tools and the strategies that they need to then be able to be successful.
Thank you.
This is a question that was submitted by the audience, and we'll start with Tim Clark. Regarding the current CVB versus CVC issue, what is your position and solution for Brown County tourism?
Well, I'll get back on the original statement. What's the best solution for the county? And then how do we find that solution? And that's through that collaboration process. And I talked about, I outlined the process. I think people can need understanding of how all that works, from a system perspective. And that requires it requires public meetings and requires presentations by all the stakeholders that are involved in that process, so they can share their perspective on what that process looks like. And so, again, we get to the point through the process, it takes a few meetings, but we have presentations to explain to people all the components and all the options, and we work through those. And so that results in the best solution for the county. That's my aim. What is the best solution for the county on that relationship, on that distribution of revenue? Have to have those public meetings, have to get people involved. I mean, we, the people, are top management. We need to get involved and weigh in, understand how it all works, and allow people to present their particular views so you can understand the process and then make those changes. You want the kind of change that will result in improvement. And that's getting down to people getting involved, understanding how the system works and what the options are.
Thank you. Greg Taggart, same question came from the audience. Regarding the current CVB versus CVC issue, what is your position and solution for Brown County tourism?
I think on both boards, I like the fact that they're working together now, and I think that's going to be a big help. I'm not so sure that 360 people are not a little bit stagnant on the Visitors Bureau. We hired them to do the tourism advertising and promoting Brown County. I'm not so sure we shouldn't look out and maybe see if we can find somebody else to do that. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's right. I know the Visitors Bureau knows more than I do, but that's just being a casual observer. I think the visitors, or the CBC, I think they're doing a fine job. I think they're doing their due diligence as far as goes. I think they were putting the feet to the fire on the visitors board, that they gotta get their financials in place and all that. But I think if they work together, I think it'd be fine, but I think we do, there again, our due diligence and monitor what's going on as a commissioner, that, I think we'll do good, and that's all I have to say on that. So.
Thank you. Justin Schwenk. Again, the question comes from the audience regarding the current CVB versus CVC issue. What is your position and solution for Brown County tourism?
Yeah, so first off, I think that the situation that's being referenced, I think there's still information that's being that's still coming out, right? So as far as taking a position on exactly, what's going on there, I want to withhold my judgment until all the information is kind of out. And we know exactly, how things are, what different activities and who knew what when. But to the other part of, what's my position on Brown County tourism and solution? I mean, tourism's our bread and butter, right? It's what we do. We are an arts community. We are a music community. I think we have an opportunity to kind of work in synergy with each other to say we can bring in the next generation of Brown County, artist and musician. We can use that. I mean, we lean into what we do well as far as tourism goes. We live on the doorsteps of a major liberal arts college. So why are we not capturing their recent graduates to say, come down here, we will help you be successful and use them to build our future.
Thank you. Tiffany Ardnt, same question from the audience regarding the current CVB versus CVC issue. What is your position and solution for Brown County tourism?
As far as the current situation, I think that definitely is still evolving. So I can't speak to as a permanent solution. I don't think probably anybody can or does have one. I know from the research that I've done that the CDC had mentioned turning over their administrative duties to the music center to maintain a marketing committee that is supposed to have members from different tourism industries within the county. Whether or not that is a solution, I would prefer to talk to the people of the county and talk to the CVC and the CVB because they know more than I know about the situation. I do know that it's, as of right now, just a month-to-month contract or agreement that the two boards are sharing. So we need to get that straightened out, definitely. But I think it's an ongoing process and we really need to have that citizen input to figure out what it is that we need to do with that. And then as far as the tourism, we get tens of thousands of visitors here every year and we need to continue to do that. We need to start bringing in some people that are younger. We talk about Gen Z all the time. Start bringing in some of them, making them aware of what is available down here and how they can grow with their, business and do what they want to do down here and be able to live down here and prosper down here.
Thank you. All right.
We're gonna stay on this topic somewhat well, maybe not the last question, but the next question is somewhat related to this topic, and it will start with Greg. What would your plans be regarding the Brown County Music Center?
As far as Brown County Music Center, I think that that's just been nothing but a blessing to our county. I don't think we should, they're doing a good job. Christian and his staff, we've got a great staff in place there. I think they've done a great job. And I think the board has done a good job as far as that goes. For selling it, you know, there's no different than, a city who builds a convention center. You know, people think, you know, we shouldn't have done that. Well, we build convention centers. You know, the music center's working just fine. I just think, it's just been nothing but a blessing, so.
Thank you. Justin, what would your plans be regarding the Brown County Music Center?
Yeah, I want to build on what Greg said. I think that it has been a net positive for our community. It was the right decision to make. I'm not opposed to, you know, reasonable negotiations of how we split profits here and there. But as far as any question regarding divesting ourselves of the music center or anything like that, that's not something that I'm ready to support at this time.
Thank you. Tiffany, what would your plans be regarding the Brown County Music Center?
I agree. I think the music center has been a positive as far as capital and as far as income generation. I mean, not only do we bring in the money from the innkeeper's tax, which has been distributed quite well. We're gonna have some more money coming in, you know, for this year. But it also brings in more tourism because there are quite a few really good bands that come in and acts. So we have all of those. And those people come and they eat and they shop and they, you know, they generate money. And you know, as far as you know, how the money is used, I would not have a problem with addressing that or, you know, going back over that as far as percentages. But as far as the music center itself, I think it has been, you know, a positive thing for the county. I mean, it brings in a lot of people who would not generally come to the county in other ways. As far as divesting ourselves from that, I don't think that would be a good idea personally. So I see it as a positive thing. So as far as the music center itself, I would, you know, keep it running the way that it is. And then we can address the thing with the CBC and the CBB and how, you know, the tourism board and everything as the time progresses.
Thank you, Tiffany. Tim, what would your plans be regarding the Brown County Music Center?
Well, I say on my campaign website, pretty consistent. It's back to what's the best solution for the county, who makes that solution and it's the folks. I followed that music center started in the beginning, early. I was in early stage of the conversations in 2016. I followed the timeline, tracked it all through. As a member of the RDC at the time, we were going to schedule public meetings, get the stakeholders involved and get input, you know, on that music center. What's the options for spending that revenue? Is it music center? Is it something else? Where do we put it? That kind of thing. What's the risk to the county? And it was decided that, hey, we'll use collateral from the revenue innkeeper's tax. We go right to the bank, so we don't need that those community discussions. And so it was approved. There was no public meetings by the commissioners and council. No public meetings before that project was approved. Zero. And then when the council was there, we got, I think Dave Kreitzer said, well, you got 30 seconds, tell us yes or no, but, you know, we can't wait to approve it. And I said, well, I wasn't for or against it. I just said, hey, take some time, give people input. And so what happens when you rush that, and it's had some positives, and then of course COVID hit, and we know it kind of got government funding for that. So it has positives. But what you do when you do that and you avoid the community meetings, you get a lot of people out there that couldn't express their voice. You have conservatives saying, why is the county in the music business? And what are other options? So bottom line is, we get back to those meetings. This would be an excellent, just an outstanding application of decision-making process where we can make the case. And I'd schedule those meetings and make the case Let everybody present and make their case for what the best options are, the pros and the cons. And I think the solution will be obvious to everyone, but we go through the process and get that community buy-in.
Thank you.
This is another question from the audience. Having attended the Septic Summit last Saturday, the audience was informed that the majority of the waterways in Brown County test positive for E. coli and other possibly deadly bacteria, with contamination mostly being a result of human product, not animal. 800 of the 8,600 households in Brown County are on sewer, 7,600 on septic. State restrictions on wetlands have been lightened that can result in more development. How are we going to keep waterways safe in Brown County? And we start with Justin Schwenk.
Right. Oh, right. So, first off, I think that arguing against, sewers is, kind of like the 100 years ago, somebody arguing against, electricity being pulled, being put through the county. It is a modern infrastructure. If we wish to, develop this county in the ways that we want it to develop, I think that sewers have to be part of that conversation. The geography of our county is such that there are going to be parts of this county that make it completely uneconomically feasible to ever put onto a sewer system. I just built my house 8 years ago. I've got a brand new Presby system that is worth tens of thousands of dollars. I understand the frustration and the concern if I got a letter saying, sorry, now you're going to be hooked up to a sewer. So making sure that putting in sewers where sewers make sense, recognizing that this is a culturally sensitive decision, means that there are solutions, but we need to be strategic about how and where we put them into place.
Thank you. And Tiffany, how are we going to keep waterways safe in Brown County? And if you want me to repeat the introductory part of that question, I'll be happy.
I actually, for my capstone project, did a study on, or did a project on how to incorporate waste management into a circular economy. So I believe, and I use the county as a example, and I agree that there are certain areas of the county. I mean, I personally have to drive 30 minutes to get to a gas station. And like Justin, we just put tens of thousands of dollars into a Presby system, and I would be very upset if somebody came and now told me, hey, now you have to hook up to a sewer system. But there are some areas of the county that we really do need to address the problem of wastewater. I personally do soil site samples and water samples on our family farm, and they have grown progressively worse over the last 10 years. With excrement, and some of the areas, like I don't live in Sweetwater, but they're right next to us. And it's a very dense population area, and those kinds of areas, we really need solutions to keep our waterways safe so that our kids can play in the water, so that we can drink the water without having to worry about, our pets getting in it and getting sick. So we need, I think and there are bond issues and other things that we can apply for as a county that will allow us to be able to put those things in where they're needed. So that would be my suggestion to start with that.
Thank you, Tiffany. And Tim Clark, how are we going to keep waterways safe in Brown County? Again, if you want that introduction, I'll repeat it as well.
Okay. Let me just focus on waterways because there's a lot of variables with this particular issue. I don't think too many people are aware that we spent $119,000 as a county, state money, grant money, and developing a wastewater master plan that includes a watershed study. I asked that be presented to the community. The board refused, the commissioners refused, the council refused. And they presented that study on their website on video. And so then if you dig in and look at the waterways, the major cause of E. coli in the waterways is pasture land. And that's in the watershed study that was developed by an independent analyst. So it was agriculture. So if you're saying it's human cost, okay, that's farmers. And then we had a member on the Brown County RSD that said, well, let's regulate farming. Well, that's kind of outside your pay grade and not in your scope of responsibility. Farmers aren't following, they're following state and federal regulations. So if you go out and look at the watershed study, you go out and look at their website and you can see it, real clear graph. And they said, even if they modeled it, this person modeled that using, whatever technology or approved methods they have. And they said, even if you had 90%, even if you had I think it was 100% failure rate of septic systems, the major cause would still be pasture land. And so people make that association that septics are causing that problem. That's not the case. So any agricultural county is going to have the same kind of issues. So let's have that conversation. Let's present that watershed study and ask the questions that they refused to ask when I provided them. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Greg, same question. How are we going to keep waterways safe in Brown County?
Well, I think we're gonna have to work on, we're already trying to put in place the sewer system, expand the sewer system up in Bean Blossom. I think that's a start. I think they're talking about expanding it over to Lake Lemon. That would be but we're gonna have to work on getting, funding or from grants, to do that. I don't think you could ever get rid of farmers and their cattle. I don't know if that's a real problem, but boy, that's a tough one on me because both my grandfathers are farmers. And so I guess we have synthetic meat. But anyway, so as far as that goes, I mean, Mollo needs to be expanded on theirs. I know theirs is in dire need of repair right now. So we're gonna have to look for grants to take care of a lot of these problems. I think if we get that sewer systems in place, and I'll keep pounding on that, and I'll just keep going. So that's my view on that.
Thank you very much.
This is a question from the audience. Everyone appears to agree that we need more younger families and keep our students here as adults. But I don't hear what you'll do to make that happen. Can you be specific? Tim Clark?
It's a challenging issue. I think it gets down to affordable housing is defined as by the government as no more than 30% of your income spent on housing. So I don't think we have an affordability problem because we don't have any problems selling real estate. It's the available problem. And the housing, we had started a tax policy. We went low property tax, high income. Well, that created a demand for housing, well, for rental units, tourist rentals, commercial, residential. We all benefit from low property tax. But given the fact that we have most of our land, over half our land is in federal, state, nonprofits, what have you, we've got high demand and we've got low supply, and that's driven up the median price of homes. I think the median price now is $350,000 to $400,000. Habitat for Humanity builds an affordable home if you need financial assistance, but that kind of home is not available if you don't need financial assistance. Something under $250,000 is not available. So how do you target that market? How do you break that down? So this affordable housing thing we've been hitting for 7 years. Job one is look at all the work that we've done, all the studies been published, what did work, what didn't, what did we try right, what didn't work. Back to those meetings, document that and explain to people, hey, here's the problem. Here's what we have. And so then the solution when you're finding national, statewide is really the influx of state and federal money to help with your housing options. So then that gets back to the comprehensive plan. What kind of housing and density do you want in your particular areas? So it's a complicated problem, takes a little more than 90 seconds. I think I covered that in a lot more detail. So again, back to explaining to people what we've done and what we need to do and our options that are available. So thank you.
Thank you. Greg Taggart. Everyone appears to agree that we need more younger families and keep our students here as adults. But I don't hear what you'll do to make that happen. Can you be specific?
On as far as that goes, I think the RDC is working on, doing economic development zones. We're working on one now with the Tilton family at their old Aubrey, property. They're to put in apartments. I think apartments is a start, but it can't be Section 8 apartments. We gotta have apartments that are gonna be for everybody. And it starts there with apartments. And I think if we expand the sewer system again, and that will help, where we don't have to buy large tracts of land so you can build on, that would help there. You won't have to buy a $30,000 Presky system to build a house. That helps there, as you know. And so we go that route. And then as far as tourism, we're gonna have to promote everything we have in our county to have people want to come here and stay, to help promote that. And, you know, if we have infrastructure built, we have a piece of property that's built, got a house on it, now we're getting more taxes. The more taxes we have, it's gonna help promote the schools. The schools are gonna get more money. You won't have to raise your taxes at that point. You won't have to have a referendum, but have a little bit of growth and go it that way.
Thank you. Justin Schwenk, what would you do specifically to keep our students here and have younger families?
Yeah, so 90 seconds is not enough time for this. I can speak for hours on this. There are multiple solutions that are available to us, and it's a multifaceted problem. We can partner with developers that are willing to bring in apartments. We can partner with developers to bring in small neighborhoods where we use inclusionary practices, where we would say a certain percentage of the houses can only be sold for a certain amount or something like that. We can do first-time home buyer programs. But as the president of the Redevelopment Commission, we studied and put together a plan to redevelop vacant and abandoned homes in the county that we can turn into a first-time home buyer program, and also kind of kill a couple birds with one stone in terms of reducing the number of homes that are vacant and abandoned, while also putting in single-family homes with a first-time home buyer that'll skew more towards younger families. That ordinance was written. We had public meetings at the Playhouse. It was written, it was sitting on the commissioner's desk, and they chose not to advance it. We had $1 million of ready funds earmarked to begin that process. And that's really one of the major motivating factors why I'm here, and it is the defining problem of the next 20 years in this county.
Thank you. Tiffany Ardnt, would you like the entire question?
No.
Okay, what would you do specifically to keep attract younger families and keep our students in the county?
Well, I think I noted previously that both of my sons both wanted to settle here, and eventually ended up going somewhere else because the housing situation here is so expensive. I believe that we do need to take advantage of those funding, those funds that are available through the state and through the federal governments to develop these properties and to bring contractors in, maybe a PPP between the county and the developer, or between the county and different businesses, so that we can, you know, I'm personally, I'm not a big fan of bringing more apartment buildings into the county. If that is, you know, but if that is something that people think that that's the solution that we need to look at, then, you know, I would agree to that, depending on what the input was from the people that are here. I think that we need to make the houses here more affordable, and I did look at the redevelopment plan that Justin had mentioned, and it seemed like a very good plan. I mean, we could use our schools, a lot of the people there, a lot of the students there to help with the building, and we could bring in developers and businesses and make those homes available to people that are within a certain income level that will come and have younger families here. So that would be the policies that I would hope to enact.
Thank you.
Tiffany, we're gonna stay with you because it kind of got out of the rotation order,
Okay.
if you don't mind. What kind of policies should commissioners put in place to provide the public opportunity for input when new ordinances or actions are being considered that will impact the Brown County community?
Okay, so, this is something that I really, feel a lot, highly about. I don't think that we have a lot of things put in place as far as any of our meetings, the commissioner meetings, any of the board meetings. I really think that we need to start using our, technical infrastructure, more. I'm not sure why we don't Zoom meetings so that people can, get into Zoom meetings. My significant other is 70-some years old. He Zoom meetings into the Bloomington meetings. So I know even the older population will do that, can do that. The other thing is I think we need to, take the meetings and the minutes and publish those in the paper. I mean, everybody knows it's not Wednesday until you read the Democrat. So, let's, start putting those meetings into the papers. If there's like any other kind of, technology that we can use, I'm all for that. Anything that anybody can plug into to be able to get to those meetings and that their input in for those meetings, I think that needs to be done. I actually, I've had a professor who has been a legislator in Georgia for the last 15 years, and she was very shocked that our meetings are not made public and are not on like any kind of Zoom or anything for us to attend. So that would be my first thing. Use the technology that we have.
Thank you. So Tim, I don't know if I need to repeat all of the question, but basically, what kind of policies do you believe the commissioners should put in place that would allow for Brown County, the community to have input?
For one, we're not gonna fast track these ordinances. You can push those through pretty quick. Nobody shows up at a meeting, you announce it, maybe vote off the second and then pass it. It's unacceptable to me. An ordinance represents a solution to a problem. What's a problem? Take, for example, the septic ordinance that we developed in 2021. I kept asking, they had working groups that went through and I kept asking the problem. And so they extended that thing and I asked for justification. Why are we exceeding state standards? What's your justification? Had 7 pages. When it came to the hearing, I had 7 pages of questions that were never addressed. And the commissioner said, thank you, didn't have time to read it. Let's go ahead and pass this thing. Well, funny enough, 2 years later, the state legislature voided that ordinance for the same reasons I just pointed out. You can't go beyond, if you go beyond state standards, you're gonna have a approval by the state through a technical review committee. So that was voided. So 2 years, 3 years of work was down the drain because we didn't identify the problem and specify, exactly what this thing was gonna solve. So when it comes to the ordinances, again, I'm back to clearly define the problem, involve the community in what the problem this ordinance is supposed to solve. So no one's surprised. And so then when it comes to the approval process, that's like the final step. Have the meetings, you do address the concerns instead of thank you for your input and forget about it, but address the concerns, make the changes you need to make. But that's more transparency, communication. Identify the problem that goes with the solution.
Thank you. So Greg, what kind of policies should commissioners put in place to provide for public opportunity for input on ordinances or actions being considered?
Well, I think we should work with the Democrat as far as, to publish things like those meetings and those ordinances. But the thing is, I think you can publish all those things, and if you don't have public that even shows up a lot of times, that you have meetings all the time where people never show up. I mean, you can post them in the Democrat, you can post them on the door. I think you need to use social media to post the meetings and about that. But I don't think things get fast tracked. I mean, there's sometimes that you just have to swing the bat. I mean, you just don't wait and study everything. You don't spend 3 years on a study and then you lose out. We lost out on the Stellar grant. That just still burns my biscuits. That we lost out on almost $12 million in opportunity that we will never have again, maybe. And but I'm sidetracked on that. But anyway, social media, I think if you start doing that, but you gotta have a public that wants to get involved, so that you can't force that on people.
Thank you. Justin?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a policy per se as much as a transforming the culture of the community, and the culture of the commissioners and government in Brown County in general. Like I said, I served as the president of the redevelopment commission for several years, and I can count on one hand the number of times that I had somebody actually show up at my meeting, right? And yet, whenever we have studied something for a year and we say we would like to roll out this idea, well, then people come out of the woodwork saying, well, we never knew this actually ever happened, right? So what really I think needs to happen is a commissioner, a group of commissioners who are going to be innovative in our approach to how we get the word out to places. We can have, I mean, I'm just brainstorming out off right now, but I mean, you know, QR codes that you can put into places where people can scan and then be able to leave their input. Social media's not terrible, but it's also kind of like the junk food of, you know, being able to put in public input. It's a little less restricted or a little less regulated, you know, but being able to make sure and bend over backwards to make sure that individuals have the right and have the ability to answer questions is important, but ultimately, to Greg's point, you also have to pull the trigger.
Thank you.
All right, and at this time, we're going to move to closing statements, and I'm sorry we weren't able to get to all the audience questions. We're out of time. And so for closing statements, each candidate will have 90-second opportunity to tell the voters something you haven't yet addressed that you'd like Brown Countyans to know. And picking up with our regular rotation, Greg Taggart, you'll be first.
My closing statement, I appreciate everybody here and the League of Women Voters, an opportunity to talk. I think this shows, as General Patton said, if we're all thinking alike, we're not thinking. So that's a good thing. But also we can't just keep studying projects and then not doing anything about them. We don't want to lose out on that. So I think we sometimes have to be proactive as far as that goes. One thing about me, my heart is with Brown County. I'm a Brown County true and true. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not. Don't put me in a category because I'm a Brown County. I'm all about Brown County. So if you want to say I'm a Republican, I'm not that. If you want to say I'm a Democrat, I'm not that. I'm a Brown County, and that's my heart, and I'll work hard for everybody. And it's not going to be my view. You got to be selfless sometimes and look at what the public does want, and that's it. And maybe it goes against what I want, but you know, I'm going to do what's right for Brown County, not what's right for Great Taggart. So I don't have a road I won't pave as a commissioner, so I want to do what's right for Brown County. So thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Justin?
A young friend of mine said that if I could figure out how to pave all the roads in Brown County, I'd never have to worry about reelection. I want to thank you all for being out here today. Hopefully it was enlightening to you. Just in closing, you know, we are living through a time of demographic change. Okay, the Pew Research Foundation announced that no longer, for the first time in living memory, are baby boomers the largest living demographic in the US. So for a community that has modeled itself attracting retirees, seeing that curve and achieving strategies to bring in the next generation of Brown County residents is going to be critical, right? without those strategies that have sustained us in the past, we won't have the future that we want to see. We will continue to see gentrification of our land. We will continue to see declining school populations. We will continue to see instability in the basic foundations of our community. I want to be able to let my kids raise their families here as I have chosen and as my parents have chosen. That will be my focus if I'm selected to be commissioner.
Thank you, Justin. Tiffany?
I don't know about anybody here, but I kind of miss the gravel roads. I mean, it was fun when you were a kid, you know, but, I really, you know, we do have to figure out a way to move forward, but we also have to be able to keep the community the way that we have all had the community and remember the community and want the community to stay. We are built on a rural aspect, and you know, that's why people come here. So we need to be able to keep that, and at the same time, be able to move forward. So we have to look at, you know, how are we gonna attract people here that are younger, that have growing families, and at the same time, be able to keep the nature of the rural and the country that we live in. And I'm with Mr. Taggart down there. I think one of the best ways to do that is you have to work for the people, because it's not about what I want. There's, you know, a lot of things that I want, but they may not be the best thing for you or the best thing for the citizens or for the county. So if I'm elected, that would be my main focus, is just being out there and talking to people and decide, you know, getting to know what they want and what they need. So.
Thank you, Tiffany. Tim?
Yeah, I really gets back to me, the bottom line, of what do we think the best solutions are for the county? I've got my background in quality management. It's always focused on improving efficiency and effectiveness and getting measurable results from these projects. So when you talk about apathy, yeah, that's a problem. Communication within the county, getting the word out, yeah, that's a big problem. But when you talk about a collaborative process, it's new. If you go out and look at the Brown County Leader Network, those methods and tools are out there when I talk about collaboration, what that involves. And so when you talk about apathy, yeah, maybe people don't show up, but you follow a process. When decisions are made and you go through, you identify the facts, assumptions, constraints, the options, the pros and cons, pick the best one, and then move forward. And then you have a process built in to check to see if that change resulted in improvement. If nobody shows up and they want to question a decision that the commissioners made on a particular area, I hate to tell you, I'll point you to the documentation and say, hey, here it is. Here's what we went through. Here's the meetings we scheduled. Here's the data we looked at. Here's why we made the decision. Here's the justification. So there's not going to be any doubt that project will be out there. And when you talk about change within the county, you really got three levels. What do we sustain? What do we incrementally improve? And what do we need to transform? Three levels of change, three levels of risk. And that involves the community on what you want to do. And that's that voice of the community. And that's my driver. What do we think the best solutions are? Do we follow the process? Let's do it. And then we'll check to see if it worked or not and then make adjustments. So thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And at this time, I would ask everyone to join me in thanking the candidates for your candid and thoughtful answers. For public office, your commitment makes democracy possible. And want to thank everybody else who took their time and came here today and who cares and submitted questions and wanted to look. So thank you all too. Round of applause.
As we close today. You guys got really good at that, hitting the button. As we close up today, I want to encourage everyone here to vote and certainly to get your friends and neighbors to vote. Voter turnout in Brown County has been as low as 44%, and in a county about our size, one vote can really make a difference. So certainly can verify your voter registration this month before the election, and then attend the public test of the election equipment, which is going to be here on October 1st at 2 p.m. Vote November 5th, or take advantage of early voting. We've got county calendars available on the website, and that will run from October 8th through November 4th. Or you can apply by mail for absentee ballots by October 24th. The form is complete, but if you want to stay for the meet and greet, we're going to take a short break. We've got some candidates here that weren't part of our forum today that are available for the meet and greet. They will take some time to make a short introduction and be available for you as well as our commission candidates. Please enjoy the refreshments. I failed to note that Kevin Patrick, the candidate for District 1, was not able to be here today. He will be at the meet and greet at our next forum on October 3rd for county surveyor, kind of an important race in our county. There's also a forum online for our congressional District 9 on September 28th. So please be sure to tune in for that next Saturday. Thank you.